From the Opopco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. We're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online anytime and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Time for We Pick 'em, Barry. We have got, well, a lot of good games the next few days. And if you just want to sit around and watch good ball, I think these might be your games. Let's start with the Thursday night game down in Houston. The Thunder at the Rockets, 7 o'clock. Who you got in this one?
Well, I'm going to take the Rockets. I'm not going to jump on the Thunder bandwagon until I see Oklahoma City play better. Thunder went to California last week, the two awful games, came home and squeaked by Utah, but now the 6-day break, maybe the Thunder's gotten right, but until they do it, I'm going to be skeptical. I don't know that they can go on the road and beat an elite team.
Well, and I do think there's a lot of reason for skepticism with this team, clearly. They did not play well last week at all, with the exception of probably the fourth quarter against the Jazz. You could say they played pretty well. But other than that, to play 3 games and only say one quarter was a good quarter, that's not a good sign. But the biggest thing the Thunder's having problems with, in my mind, defense. The Rockets don't play any defense either. So I think they're going to go down there and just score a bunch of points. I think the Thunder is going to figure out a way after this long layoff to be fresher, to be more enthused and energized. I think they win. But if not, the games don't get any easier, Barry, because Friday night at 7, here come the Warriors to town to take on the Thunder. Who you got in this one?
Well, I'm going to counter myself here. I actually think the Thunder might win this one because, you know, they've lost to the Golden Staters 3 times already this season. But 2 were close. 1 was without Durant and Westbrook. Thunder, of course, is better at home. I think the Warriors really have the Thunder's attention because of what we've seen this year. The game in Oakland last week was terrible. Thunder didn't match up at all. But the Thunder's, like I said, they played Golden State very, very tough. The night Kevin Durant sprained his ankle, and they were in a shootout with Golden State. Durant had 30 at halftime. So I think the Thunder will have will be all hands on deck for Golden State. I think Thunder maybe beat the Warriors this time. Well,
unlike you, I'm not going to contradict myself, and I'm going to say that the Warriors do play some defense, unlike the Rockets, to go with that great offense. So I got the Warriors in this one. And I think the second night of the back-to-back is going to be problematic for the Thunder. I think it's going to, as it always will be against the Rockets, a lot of intensity between those two teams, a rivalry for sure. I think that's going to take its toll. So I think the Thunder will come home. The home crowd may energize them a little bit, but I just don't think, I think on the second night of a back-to-back and then trying to go out and defend what the Warriors do, it may be a closer game. Doesn't it have to be a closer game than it was out in Oakland, for crying out loud? That was terrible. But I still think the Warriors get the job done on Friday night. All right, Barry, Saturday night, it's Bedlam time for the men. OU, OSU in Norman. Who you got?
Well, I'll take OU because I always like the home team, but I got to tell you, OSU has shown that it can be competitive on the road. Went to the wire with Iowa State, played tough at Kansas despite not playing well. So I think the Cowboys will put up a fight. Sooners have had 2 straight miserable games. They've fallen from grace. They've fallen from maybe being in position to challenge for the Big 12 title to now all of a sudden a team that really looks shaky. But I think home court is so big, I think that probably stabilizes the Sooners.
Yeah, I've got OU in this one as well, and I think it's largely because of history, frankly. I mean, I agree. I think that right now OSU is playing better ball than OU. I don't know what's gotten into the Sooners. I thought that loss to K-State was just a loss of focus, a loss of intensity, and that they'd bounce back, and instead they go to West Virginia and get their doors blown off. Losing at West Virginia isn't necessarily a sin, but to not be competitive in that game, that was shocking to me. And yet the history in this Bedlam series in Norman is way slanted towards OU. OSU's taken good teams to Norman and not come out victorious. So I think that they have the better team right now. I think they're playing better basketball, OSU is. But I'm just going to go with history, and so OU pulls it out. All right, Barry, let's talk about those NFL playoff games. Oh, man, these are some good ones. Green Bay at Seattle. 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Who are you taking in this one?
Well, I'll take the Seahawks. I think Aaron Rodgers would need to be 100% to lift the Packers to the upset. He's not 100%.
That miracle drug you took in the second half?
He's still a fabulous quarterback. He's still the NFL's best quarterback, even when he's dragging a leg behind him. But that Seattle defense is so tough, especially in the Pacific Northwest. Green Bay's defense is just so-so. I think Russell Wilson gets enough done to give the Seahawks a cushion.
Yeah, I'm going with Seattle in this one as well, but I think it's going to be a really interesting and fun game to watch. Green Bay obviously had that fantastic game a week ago against Dallas, something a lot of us are still talking about with the catch, no catch at the end by Des Bryant, but I think Seattle's playing fantastic. You know, the way they were playing at the beginning of the year, I thought they might fall into that trap that so many other Super Bowl champs have and not even making the playoffs. I thought that might be a problem. Now, in my mind, they're the Super Bowl favorites. I think they're going to the Super Bowl, and then I think they're going to win. But who are they going to play, Barry? Indy goes to New England for that later game on Sunday. It's a 5:40 tip on Sunday. Who are you taking in this one?
I'm going to take the Colts in the upset. I believe in Andrew Luck. I'm fired up about Andrew Luck. This is not a great Colts team. It's got some flaws. Luck doesn't have quite as many weapons as he needs. The defense can come and go. We saw the defense get totally lit up by the likes of New England, by the likes of Denver, by the likes of Dallas. But they played better the other day against the Broncos. Peyton Manning is not nearly in the same class right now as Tom Brady is, so this will be the ultimate test. But I'm a believer in Andrew Luck. I think these playoffs are his coming out party.
Well, they're definitely a big Andrew Luck time for sure. But I'm going to go New England in this one because that Indy defense, while it did play better at Denver, I think what Denver did offensively or failed to do offensively a week ago was more about Denver than it was about Indy. Peyton Manning not playing well at all. His receivers not playing well at all. I just didn't feel like they had nearly the type of game to test that Indy defense like they needed to be. And I think New England is a lot, or seemingly, unless they have a total blip of a game here in the championship, I think they're way more high functioning right now than that Denver offense looked a week ago. And they get home field. Although you got to admire Indy in the way that they've been playing. To go to Denver in a hostile environment, even when Peyton Manning's not playing well and win, says something, but I'm taking New England. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.